Alright guys, welcome back to another video of me, Kevin. And in today's video we are talking about Scottish football. That's right, Scottish football this week. I finally remembered to do another video. It's been on my mind for a while, but this is just really hard to do a weekly series because what the hell do I title it most of the time? But more importantly, let's talk about the fixtures that have happened. We're going to talk about Saturday's fixtures, we're going to talk about Sunday's fixtures. We're then going to touch on Dundee United's terrible performance. We'll maybe touch on Rangers, we'll see how the flow is going, and then we'll talk about predictions of Rangers and Hearts in Europe's qualifiers, and then predictions for the weekend coming up. So yeah, let's get underway with Aberdeen taking on Motherwell. You'd think before the game Aberdeen should win this. They're at home, they're a better team than Motherwell, but no, Motherwell have probably done most people's bets who had them on. Motherwell got an early lead after 20 minutes, but then Aberdeen went in 1-1 at half time. Hayes gets an early goal in the second half to make it 2-1, and then Motherwell get two back-to-back goals with Slattery and then Van Veen getting the winner. Very poor from Aberdeen, as a poor Motherwell side escaped with a 3 points, scoring 3 goals. That's very poor defensively for Aberdeen. And speaking of poor teams, Hibs took on Livingston away at Livingston, and Nubley gets a goal very early on, like he did against Rangers. Hibs equalised on the 51st minute with Kenneth, and then Oblai got a late goal in the 86th minute, and it's just a bit embarrassing for Hibs, because in the build-up, it's not just embarrassing on the pitch that they lost, but as I'm trying to allude to, off the pitch they got embarrassed, as Hibs on the build-up to the Edinburgh Derby, they were doing all this, choose Hibs, choose Leave, choose Green, choose this, choose that, and it's kind of just a bit of like patter basically from Hibs being like, oh look, pick us, we're the best, blah blah. And then Livingston hit back with hashtag choose Livy, and I'll read this out: choose the wee team, choose a local team, choose plastic, choose pasta, choose roundabouts, choose a designer outlet, choose specialty pies for half time, choose West Lothian, choose being a part of the community, choose Peterhead away on a Tuesday night, choose back-to-back promotions, choose Davy Bingham, choose an archery level overhead kick, choose standing on Bubble Hill for the game, choose Lily, choose McAllister, choose the 14th March 2004, choose a cup win against all the odds, choose Scott Pitton bursting through, choose the Piano Man, choose the Lothian's finest football team, choose your future, choose Livingston Football Club. And that's just embarrassing for Hibs on and off the pitch, and it's no surprise them getting embarrassed by any team in the league, is it? Hibs, massive club of course, but that's the kind of thing you're asking for when you're making those kind of statements, especially with an admin that Livy have who will just take the Michael basically. And then, speaking of teams getting embarrassed, St Johnstone went away to Ibrox, and Rangers, as you would think with a relegation candidate, have just battered them. Tillman gets a goal after 32 minutes, Kola gets one after 62, Allfield gets a late goal with 10 minutes to go, and Lawrence gets an 83rd minute goal. And that's not just the big win that Rangers got in the last week, as of course they beat the Belgian side 3-0 after going 2-0 down in the Champions League qualifiers in the first leg. They pull it back, doing the unthinkable, scoring 3 goals without reply, and they score 4 more against St Johnstone. A very good week for the Gels. And then we finish off Saturday with St Mirren hosting Ross County. You think this is where Ross County get a win? They'll beat St Mirren. St Mirren are another candidate to potentially get relegated, but no, Ross County are still yet without any points, as Richard Tate in the 50th minute got a goal for St Mirren. Ross County are 3 games without a point. Very worrying time for the Staggies. And speaking about worrying times, Kilmarnock hosted Celtic, and what's very concerning for Kilmarnock is Celtic weren't even at their best. I don't think Celtic played their best from what I've seen or what I know the team can do. A lot of really poorly placed passes and not the best movement in the midfield. I thought O'Reilly's position wasn't really great. I didn't think O'Reilly had that great a game at all, to be honest. I don't know if that's the overall opinion. I just didn't think he was that great. I thought Turnbull's a wee bit off it. McGregor wasn't the greatest. I thought the midfield was a bit off, and even with us not being at our best, we still utterly battled Kilmarnock on the score sheet, as a great ball from Greg Taylor right through to Maeda. Maeda just has to do a little pass to the side, and Kyogo just has to tap it in, and it's 7 minutes in, 1-0 as Kyogo happens. And then Jota, after 35 minutes, scores another screamer. It's 3 weeks into the season, and he has 2 screamers, 2 goal of the season contenders. What a man. And then he also had a wristband on that had the name of a Benfica legend who sadly passed away. It's a very nice touch from Jota to have that, or Chalana, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's just a very nice touch from the Benfica youth player, of course. And then Jens gets a goal just before half time, an overhead kick from a centre back. You don't see that every day of the week, do you? As the German centre back Jens, on loan from Lorient, gets the goal just before half time. And speaking of centre back scoring, Saalfeld gets subbed on for Jens and gets his first Celtic goal. You love to see it. Big up the Swede. He deserves that goal after last season. He very much does. And speaking of spectacular goals that we love to see, we got another overhead kick in the Celtic vs Kilmarnock game as Giacomakis gets, I believe, his 3rd overhead kick for the club. The man just loves them, doesn't he? And then to finish off the weekend's results, Hearts vs Dundee United. We'll talk about Dundee United again after this, as Hearts opened up the scoring as former Dundee United player Lawrence Shanklin opened up the scoring after 1 minute. 1 minute. They were just so used to getting battered as they were like midweek, but we'll touch on that. And then Mackay got another early goal, but this time in the second half. Early on in both halves they've conceded. And then Grant gets a goal with half an hour to go. But then Stephen Fletcher pulls one back. It's 3-1. He gets a penalty. Good to see him getting a goal. And then Josh Ginnelly in the 95th minute, making it 4-1. Another battering for United. And as I'm saying, another battering, let's talk about that midweek result quickly. So it was 1, it was 2, it was 3, it was 4, it was 5, it was 7-0 AZ Alkmaar. That was embarrassing. It was obviously embarrassing when I had to watch Celtic concede 7 goals to the likes of PSG and Barca, but the difference is that's like prime Barca, and that is PSG who spend hundreds of millions on just a single player. Whereas Dundee United have just lost 7-0 to not even the best Dutch team, which is embarrassing for Scottish football. But yeah, let's not go fully into that, or I think every Dundee United fan would be very upset if I was to go fully in on them. But yeah, let's continue with the predictions. So Rangers on Tuesday, I believe, or is it Wednesday? On either Tuesday or Wednesday. It's Tuesday. They will face PSV Eindhoven at 8 o'clock at Ibrox. Where do I think this one will go? Do I think PSV will take the lead in the first leg, or will it be Rangers going into Holland with that lead? I think Rangers might. I think Rangers 1-0, keeping the clean sheet. It's going to be a low scoring game, I think. 1-0, and it's going to be a very tough second leg. I see it going like that, the same way it was for Dundee United, but hopefully not a 7-0 battering. Well, I wouldn't mind it being a 7-0 battering, but for the coefficient, only a 5-0 battering, please. And speaking of European qualifiers, Hearts in the Europa League playoff are guaranteed European football, which is great to see, as they take on Zurich away. Do I see them winning? I'm going to back Hearts to win 2-1 away from home. I just think they're the better team by far, and I can see them winning home and away, or at least drawing away and winning at home. I don't really see them losing. If they do, it will be down to silly mistakes like it was for quite a few Dundee United's goals in Europe. And then let's move on back to Rangers as they go away to Easter Road against Hibs, and I can see Hibs getting the first goal of this game. And I don't mean they'll win the game, I mean they'll get the first goal and everyone will be like, oh, is this where Rangers fall apart here? And then Rangers will get 2 goals. It'll finish 2-1 Rangers away at Easter Road, with Hibs losing yet another game. And then, speaking of losing, Dundee United really need a win against St Mirren. And it was the same for Ross County against St Mirren, but this time it's St Mirren is going away, and I feel like with that, it'll be a draw. But for Dundee United and Jack Ross's sake especially, Jack Ross needs a win here, and he's going to need a lot of luck, I think, because Dundee United should be beating the teams like St Mirren. They should. The squad's good enough to be walking over teams like St Mirren, but I just don't think they're mentally there. And now we move on to Motherwell, who take on Livingston. I can see Livingston getting a win here. It'll be a tight one. It'll be like 1-0 or 1-1 wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if Livingston have enough goals away from home. But I think if it's a draw, it will be a low-scoring draw. Or it'll be like a 2-1 win or 1-0 win. Just something like that. That's my idea. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 Livingston win. And then Ross County take on Kilmarnock. I think this is where Ross County get their points on the board. I can see this being a win, and this could be a start of a bit of momentum for Ross County, potentially. Because I think Kilmarnock, it's really worrying the fact that Celtic didn't play that well, like in the passing game, or the midfield was a bit off, and I just think that's really alarming for Kilmarnock that Celtic didn't really have to play that well to batter them 5-0. And I think Ross County will be looking for goals. I can see Ross County winning 2-0 here. And it'll be a big defeat for Kilmarnock if that happens. But I think Ross County are good enough to do that. Speaking about teams that are good enough to win games, it's Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen won't go back-to-back losses or back-to-back games without winning. I think they'll go away to St Johnstone and they will get a 2-0 or 2-1 win. It will be quite convincing, even though the scoreline won't be that marginally big. And then Celtic versus Hearts, the biggest game of the weekend. Do I see the boys win or do I see the Jam Tarts win? It's Celtic. I mean, just look at the head-to-head, plus Hearts playing on the Thursday just before the game. Hearts have only won 6 out of the last 46 games, drawing 3, and Celtic won 37. I think history kind of teaches a lot about the future, and Celtic will win. Once again, I can see this being like a 3-1 or 2-1 game, but I'll go with 3-1. And yeah, that's how I see the next couple games going in the Scottish Premiership and in European qualifiers, plus my thoughts on the games that have happened. Sorry, Dundee United fans. I really did want you to win, though, as you can see from my Twitter. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We might have a FIFA 23 related video coming out very soon. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.